Hello learners, I am Dr. Sabiha Wali, ex-professor in Food Science and Nutrition and Head, Postgraduate Department of Home Science, Rashtrasant Tukadoji Maharaj, Nagpur University, Nagpur. Welcome to this module on non-nutrient effects of specific nutrients with reference to proteins, peptides and nucleotides. Dear learners, in this module, you will be introduced to the role of proteins, peptides and nucleotides in human health besides their known functions in the body. We shall also study the specific action of protein as a source of energy in adverse conditions and in weight reducing diets, and the role of peptides and nucleotides as nutraceuticals or as functional foods. Now let us see what are the objectives of this module. After studying these modules, you will be able to understand the concept of non-nutrient effects of specific nutrients, alternate role of protein as energy source, role of protein in exercise and weight loss regimen, bioactive peptides in human health, nucleotides as conditionally essential nutrients. Now, nutrients, as we all know, are conceived as dietary substances which the body requires more or less continuously within a particular dosage range to protect against developing the characteristic syndromes that occur when they are deficient in the diet. However, some nutrients, when given apart from their usual food sources or at higher doses than those obtained from the diet, have the ability to exercise pharmacologic effects. In order for the nutrients to produce such effects, its plasma levels must be allowed to increase substantially when larger amounts are consumed. An unsaturated or competitive system must exist for transporting the nutrient across the blood-brain barrier, and the enzymes that convert the nutrient to its pharmacologically active form must also be unsaturated with the substrate. We shall discuss some of these nutrients, that is proteins, peptides and nucleotides, in relation to their non-nutrient effects besides their known functions in the human body. Now, proteins are known to be vital to life. They are a fundamental component of the meal plan necessary both for physical development and organ and cell functions. Now, protein is the most abundant nitrogen containing compound of the body, formed when alpha amino acids polymerize via peptide bond formation. Protein are the workhorses in cells and organs, and their building blocks, the amino acids, are joined together according to a particular sequence which is directed by the base sequence of DNA, that is the genome, and so they serve as the currency of protein nutrition and metabolism. Now, protein is a nutrient that is needed by the human body for growth and maintenance. Apart from water, protein are the most abundant kind of molecules in the body. Protein can be found in all cells of the body and is the major structural component of all cells in the body, especially the muscles. Now, this also includes body organs, hair and skin. Proteins are also used in membranes such as glycoproteins. When proteins are broken down into amino acids, They are used as precursors to nucleic acid, coenzymes, hormones, immune response, cellular repair, and other molecules that are essential for life. Additionally, protein is needed to form blood cells. Over the past decade or so, protein has emerged as a functional food ingredient for several health areas, including weight loss and diabetes. Through a maze of fad diets and supplements, protein has emerged as a critical nutrient for improving body composition and a core ingredient for weight loss products. Now, let us see the role of protein as a source of energy in a fed state. Now, when an individual is in a fed state, the protein undergoes digestion in the stomach and small intestine to release amino acids, which are then taken up by the cells and used for the synthesis of proteins and other molecules. However, if amino acids are present in excess of the body's need, they can either be used directly as a fuel to produce ATP or converted to glycogen or fat and stored for later use. Thus, protein serves as an indirect source of energy. Now, the role of protein in starvation. The fasted state is usually accompanied with a decrease in the hormone insulin and an increase in glucagon, which cause an increase in the hepatic glucose production and degradation of glycogen via a series of dephosphorylations to produce fuel, that is energy for the body. Now, following prolonged exercise or during the period of starvation, the body relies on its energy stores for fuels. Glucagon is also known to be a stimulator of gluconeogenesis. When inadequate blood glucose producing carbohydrate is consumed, blood glucose is maintained by breaking down glycogen and through gluconeogenesis. During semi-starvation, the glycogen levels are dramatically decreased and the role of hepatic glycogenolysis in maintaining the blood glucose level is lessened in a relative manner. Now, glycogen reserves can last only for a period ranging between 12 to 14 hours and they are quickly depleted. It is of significant concern to maintain the blood glucose concentration and provide fuel to brain as well as RBCs. Now, it is a known fact that fat cannot be converted to glucose. In prolonged starvation, the brain adapts the ketone bodies as fuels, whereas RBC cannot utilize ketone bodies at all because they do not have mitochondria. Therefore, an alternative substrate for glucose production is required. This is provided through the process of gluconeogenesis. Now, let us see what is gluconeogenesis and the relationship between protein and gluconeogenesis. Now, gluconeogenesis creates glucose non-carbohydrate substrates, namely pyruvate, lactate, glycerol, alanine and glutamine. Some amino acids can be converted to glucose by the process of gluconeogenesis. The major gluconeogenic precursors are amino acids alanine and glutamine, which are derived mainly from proteolysis in the skeletal muscle. This combination of actions helps to maintain the blood glucose levels during a fasting period. Now, the amino acids which are participating in these processes are deaminated, thereby releasing ammonia, and this ammonia is disposed of by the body in the form of urea. The remaining carbon skeletons enter the Krebs cycle at various points. Most amino acids are glycogenic. Their carbon skeletons are degraded to pyruvate or other intermediates, that is oxaloacetate, fumaric acid, succinyl-CoA, alpha ketoglutarate. These can be transformed into glucose. A few amino acids cannot be converted to glucose, like tryptophan and leucine, because they are purely ketogenic and they are metabolized only to acetoacetyl-CoA and acetyl-CoA, which enters the Krebs cycle for the production of ATP, carbon dioxide and water. A few amino acids are both ketogenic as well as glycogenic, and they can be converted into acetyl-CoA or to glucose. The process of gluconeogenesis is virtually a reversal of Ebden-Meyerhof pathway by which glucose is converted to pyruvate. The direction followed along this pathway depends solely on the metabolic needs of the body at a given time. Amino acids may thus be used to raise the blood glucose level, which subsequently are oxidized for energy. Thus, dietary protein is an important fuel consideration during caloric imbalances. Now, let us see the relationship between protein and weight loss. Now, protein is used for many metabolic and physiological reasons. Generally, during a state of weight loss, there is an increased emphasis on a caloric intake decrease and a caloric expenditure increase. During an energy imbalance favoring weight loss, the dependence on body proteins to sustain its energy needs increases. Being the largest and the most accessible protein resource, muscle mass is targeted. The weight loss plan does not provide enough protein to service the anatomical and physiological needs as well as provide energy through the weight loss period. Dietary protein would need to compensate for the additional protein need in general, but also provide adequate amounts of the essential amino acids. An increase in dietary protein, therefore, and a decrease in dietary carbohydrate have been shown to produce glucose homeostasis, increase lean body mass, increase fat loss, and improve blood lipid profiles. These studies suggest that meal plans with a reduced amount of carbohydrate and an increase in protein can increase weight loss and loss of body fat and reduce at the same time loss of lean tissue. Now, next we look into protein's role in exercise and weight loss. According to one school of thought, eating the recommended dietary allowance for protein is adequate for a person who exercises regularly. But then others think it can lead to an increase in protein breakdown and a decrease in protein synthesis, possibly leading to an increase in protein needs. Over time, not eating enough protein can lead to a decrease in muscle and physical performance. Results reported from a study on adult obese women on a weight loss program showed that high protein meal plan with and without exercise produced greater weight loss after 16 weeks than carbohydrate meal plan. The higher protein meal plan with exercise eliminated the most body fat. All groups lost weight on these calorie controlled meal plans, but subjects in the protein groups lost more total weight and body fat and maintained more muscle mass than the carbohydrate groups. The protein group with exercise appeared to experience an additive effect on the body composition as well as weight loss. Now, in weight reducing high protein diets, the extra protein beyond the body's needs is thus used for energy purposes, thereby deviating from the normal functions of protein. Now, the next we take is role of protein in the digestion of food, and that is related to the specific dynamic action of food. Now, the metabolic response to the ingestion of food has been termed as diet induced thermogenesis, thermic effect of food, specific dynamic action and heat increment. All of these refer to the increased heat production which follows ingestion of food. Its magnitude of course varies with the diet and individual and can range from 5 to 20% of the ingested calories. Now, usually the thermic effect is greater when the meal is larger and when the individual has a greater fat-free mass. In addition, protein in the diet exerts a much larger thermic effect than starches or fat. High protein intake increases the thermic effect and leads to energy loss. Now, probably this principle of energy loss with the intake of high protein is also being used in weight reducing diets. Now, coming to protein and lipid synthesis, protein that cannot be metabolized immediately is converted into fat for storage. After the body's amino acid needs for protein synthesis is met, the surplus amino acids are metabolized to fat and stored in that form. This is accomplished by conversion of the amino acids to pyruvate and acetyl-CoA, which are then synthesized to fatty acids. These fatty acids combine with a molecule of glycerol to form a triglyceride. Let us now conclude what we have learned in this module. We have discussed the concept and role of nutrients beyond their known functions in the human body with specific reference to protein in this part of the module. Protein is known to be a major structural component of cells and is vital for both growth and development. The role of protein in the fed state, during starvation, exercise and weight loss, specific dynamic action of foods and in lipid synthesis has been explained. I hope learners you have understood the important role of protein besides its regular functions in the human body. Thank you.